welcome to my channel. This is the start to a new weekend reading vlog. Today's Thursday. I am currently listening to the Never Lie by Frida McFadden. I am currently on a thriller kick, so I thought I would start a weekend vlog because January is ending. Literally only 2 days left of January, and I haven't been doing well on my January TBR. Basically, I abandoned it because I was in a bit of a reading slump, so I didn't really read anything off my TBR that my son chose, which unfortunately I'll try it again with him next time and actually read those books, but it wasn't a great timing. I was just in a big reading slump. Oh, I see that little bird over there. I don't know if you can see him. Yeah. He's just chilling. But yeah, we're currently out now because we're fishing, and well, not really me, I'm not really fishing, but we're out. It's a very beautiful view. The sun is just rising now, so we're seeing it come up slowly, like surely I'm seeing it right now. It's blinding me. But yeah, currently reading Never Lie. I'm 62% of the way through that one. I'm mainly listening to it, but also reading the ebook. It's really good. I'm loving it because I recently read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. That one was great. It was a great twist. At the beginning, I really didn't like the characters, which honestly I didn't like the characters all the way through, but I guess Millie, I kind of liked her a little bit more towards the end, once we had that twist and everything. It was a great book. It made me realize I would like thrillers, so I read The Silent Patient as well, but I didn't love The Silent Patient. It's so funny, I went from like a really good thriller to a really terrible thriller like immediately. So The Silent Patient was the second one I read, and now the third one I'm reading is Never Lie by Frida McFadden, and I actually bought a physical copy of The Boyfriend by her. I know that's not her most popular one, it's newer and people don't really like it. Yeah, I know that people don't really like that one, but I think I will like it. I don't know. I heard the twist is really good too, so I'm just here for the twist. I realized that even though I've only read 2 thrillers and I'm on the 3rd one, there is a pattern I've noticed where the beginning is slower, and it's like more like going towards the 60%, 70% mark is where you really have the really intense, nice parts. I really like that pattern. I can deal with it. I'm a fantasy reader. I know slow starts. I'm used to slow starts. So yeah, that's my reading plans this weekend. Basically thrillers and maybe rereading Emily Wilde's Map of the Otherlands. So yeah, welcome to the start of a new vlog. It's so bright. You cannot see me at all. That's the sun rising. Oh my goodness. They really want the fish. Go back, go back. Shay, you see them? Go back, go back, go back, go back, go back. Okay, a little bookish update. So, since I haven't really been doing any reading vlog this past few weeks, so basically in January, I've only done one bookish vlog and it wasn't really a reading vlog. So, all the books I've read, I haven't really done any updates on. So, I might have to do a wrap up. Maybe I'll see. But I wanted to talk about the last few books I've read for the past 3 days now, before Thursday and this weekend coming up. So I first read, I think I put it on my bookshelf out there. Yeah, I did. But I first read The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. That started my obsession with thrillers for this week. So I've just been back to back reading thrillers because that pushed me into the thrillers, like for sure. I've never really been interested in thrillers until I read that book. I'm like, okay, I think I like the formula of thrillers. Like, it has this formula where you start off with the story, the backstory, and you get to know the characters. They are very unlikable characters for the most part, I've noticed. But you get to enjoy the unlikableness of them. That's what I've realized with thrillers from the three that I've read so far. But even though I hated The Silent Patient, I did talk a little bit about it. I didn't talk a lot earlier because I was more focused on looking at the sunrise and going fishing yesterday. So didn't really have much to update yesterday, but let's do some talking today. So that The Silent Patient, I actually gave that 2 stars, and I was thinking, is it like 2.5? I think 2.5 is better for it because I didn't hate it completely, but just logically speaking, it wasn't enjoyable for me. It was very boring from the beginning, and it was so all over the place. Like, especially my biggest qualm with it too was that the twist felt like the author was just lying to me. like I don't know if you ever watched Bob's Burger, and there was this episode where Linda, she did like this mystery thing and she lied about who the killer was, and she's like, "Oh, it's not. I didn't lie. It's a twist." And they're like, "That is a lie. You lied to us. You told us straight up that they're the killer, but they are the killer." And that's how The Silent Patient was for me. It's like I was lied to. That's how I felt. And you cannot make the reader feel like they were lied to. Instead of it being like a smart deception, that it didn't feel like a smart deception at all. It felt like I was just lied to. And it's funny because Never Lie, the one I read recently by Frida McFadden, yesterday I finished it. It does have a similar kind of deception, but it was done in a way better way. It was way better the way it was done, and like you did have hints and clues along the way. I had no hints, no clues until the 80% mark is when I started clicking. That's when I really started seeing little clues because I was thinking back to it and I'm like, there was no hints, no clues at all. It was just thrown in there. I felt like I was lied to. Like, that makes no sense. Like, what really? Especially the time jumps. Like, I did not know it was a time jump. It felt like it was the same exact time period. And that's why I felt like I was lied to because it was not given, oh, this is in the past. This happened in the past. It was given, this happened in present day. He left his work and went out and saw, you know, let's not get into it. But if you read The Silent Patient and you felt that same way, let me know. Let's talk about it because I really hated that book for that reason. I was lied to. But other than that, Never Lie by Frida McFadden, it does have a similar formula where the twist is basically a big deception. And I enjoyed it. I enjoyed that type of twist, but not the one that was done in Italian Patient. So I actually enjoyed Never Lie, and I am definitely looking forward to reading more Freedom McFadden books. I did buy The Boyfriend by her. It's like the second one I own physically by her now. I might get some other ones. I saw The Teacher and The Inmate and all those ones at Walmart in the book section, but I felt like they're the types I wouldn't want to own physically. I think I would just like reading them in ebook format. Like The Housemaid, I knew I wanted to read it physically, so that's why I got it physically. And this one too, I think I'll enjoy reading it physically. So I guess I'm a Freedom McFadden fan now. And I found a new author to attach to this year because last year it was Tegan Fisher for me. Tegan Fisher. And I'm still on a Tegan Fisher kick because she has a lot of books that I'm looking forward to reading still. And so I'm finding new authors, finding new genres to get into. And I did start my reread of Emily Wilde's Map of the Other Lands. I'm only on page 11. I started in the car. I went to the grocery store earlier today and I started in the car on a ride back. And it's great as always. It's just a comfort read for me. I'm just rereading it because February is when the third book is being released. And I think that's the finale in the series. Yeah, it's the finale. So super excited and scary. One of my favorite series is ending. Usually I'm happy when a series is ending because I don't love long series, but it's so bittersweet. It's always a bittersweet feeling still when a series is ending. But I'll forever have this series in my mind, and hopefully I love the third book because, sometimes those last books can be a disappointment. So I'm hoping it's not a disappointment. So yeah, today is Friday. I'm gonna go to work soon, so I don't have much time to read. I'm just gonna do a little bit of reading of this, and I don't know what else I'm gonna read this weekend I might just pick up The Boyfriend because I'm still in that thriller vibe. Like I want to read more thrillers. So so I think that's what I'm gonna do. Since this is a reread, I'm not gonna focus too much on it. I didn't get to it in January, even though today's January 31st. I'm not gonna finish it today. So it'll be on my February wrap up basically, and that's okay. It's closer to the time of release, so I reread it then, and it'll feel nicer rereading this and then going into the third book. So those are my plans. Basically, I have these two in mind to read it for the next 2 days. So this right here is a bunch of book covers. This is my January wrap up spread. I need to work on it. So today, basically, I'm going to be working on my reading journal while I listen to my reread of Emily Wilde's Map to the Otherlands. That's basically my plan today, and that could mean hours of just being in this reading journal because I don't have a plan in mind. My February books to be read. I don't really have a February TBR basically. So I'm gonna print out some book covers that I might be interested in reading in February, but probably overall, since I'm in a sudden thriller kick, I want to read more thrillers. I know I want to read The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden, and I think she have a newer release. I think it's called The Crash. I want to read it as well. It sounds interesting. So yeah, working on my reading journal, spread, and nothing else in mind other than to do that today. I'm almost done with my reread of Emily Wilde's Map to the Otherlands, and I have to say it's a perfect reread. I'm loving it as I expected. Obviously, I read it last year, January, so it's very fresh in my mind still, the whole story. But I'm happy that I'm doing this reread because there were little tidbits that I didn't remember. Like when Emily went into the fairy kingdom, I didn't remember that part at all, which I find that I always don't recall anything at the end of the story. I remember the beginning more than the end. And I think for most people, they remember the end more than they do the beginning. Even with TV shows, I always remember what happened in the first few episodes, but the ending episodes, I don't remember anything at all. So it feels brand new, the ending, and I'm excited. I'm excited for book three. I just cannot wait. February 18th. It cannot come quick enough. I'm just so excited for the release of Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales. I cannot wait. I just have so much ideas of how great it could be, you know? Honestly. But yeah, so I think I have like 50 pages left, and then I'll honestly, it's gonna be 5-star again because same feelings. I'm loving it. I just love Wendell and Emily so much, and I love all the people they meet along the way. And I just love this fairy world because these fairies are so vicious and just crazy and chaotic and just all over. They're so obsessed with humans. That's what I love with fairy books, that the fairies are so cruel, but they're obsessive or mortals. I don't know, I just love that type of story, those type of stories so much. So I'm enjoying my reread, and I'm excited to pick up The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden. Literally, as soon as I finish this reread, I'm gonna pick it up later tonight and see how that goes because I'm on a thriller kick, as I told you earlier. I'm just enjoying thrillers right now, and especially Frida McFadden's her thrillers. They're so good. I see why people love her books, and I'm becoming a fan too. So, but I did also finish my update on my reading journal. So I did my pages for, I did my wrap up page for January. So I did read 9 books. I wasn't even counting. I didn't remember. I did like the star ratings and stuff. I might do my thoughts on some of them, but some of them I don't really care to put any thoughts on. All Systems Red was very short and I enjoyed it, but there's not much substance to that one. Well, I guess A Song for the Wild Built, I really enjoyed that one and I have a lot of thoughts on that one. So I probably put some little think pieces right there. And then The Housemaid I enjoyed. So yeah, my favorites this month were The Neighbor Favor. I love that one. The Tainted Cup by Robert Jackson Bennett. That was more like a sci-fi murder mystery, but the detective mystery part is why I went into this book. But I got so much more with the world building. The world building was great, so I'm looking forward to book 2. And then Beach Read was good, but it wasn't as I expected. I gave it 4 stars because I was thinking it was going to be probably a 5 star since so much people rave about this Emily Henry book, but it was just okay for me. And honestly, it made me realize Emily Henry just writes the same man every time, over and over. So it was just like, she needs to change it up, you know? But this is like her first foray into these type of characters. But because I read the books after the release of Beach Read, when I went back into reading Beach Read, now I'm like, okay, her characters, they read the same. Not the woman, the man, they read the same. And the dynamics feel very similar. So yeah, those are my thoughts on some of the books I read in January. But then I did my February page. This is my February page. It's just my to be read page and like, the header of February, and then I have a wrap up page. It's not much into this in my reading journal. I just want to just document the books I read. I'm not trying to do a whole spread on a certain book or anything like that. I don't have time for that. I'm just doing a journal physically for what I've read each month and stuff like that. So yeah, that's what my reading journal is for. And for February now, I know for sure I want to read The Partner Plot. I want to read that one by Christina Forrest. It's like a sequel spin-off from The Neighbor Favor. So I want to read that in February since it's Black History Month. I want to get into reading more Black authors' works. So this is the month I'm choosing to read a lot of books by Black authors that I've had on my radar, but I haven't been able to get to. Like, I accidentally summoned a demon boyfriend. I want to read that one. That one sounds crazy and fun, and I love reading those books, so I'm excited for that one. That's a paranormal romance. Then Perfectly Candid looks very cutesy and romantic, so hoping that doesn't disappoint me. Then I have obviously Emily Wilde's Compendium of Lost Tales and Anatomy, which is more like on the historical fiction side, and I realize I love those type of books, historical fiction books, so I'm expecting to like that as well. And yeah, that's my reading journal. That's my February TBR of the sorts. Who knows if I'm going to get to all those books. I might switch it up completely and continue reading different books. I don't know what other thrillers I want to read after this one. I'm probably going to read The Crash by Frida McFadden. It's her newest release lately. She released it in January, so I might read that next. So yeah, those are basically what I want to read in February, but we'll see. It might change, A mood reader never keeps their words on what books they read. So I can't even tell you what you should expect from me in the future, but we'll see. I know for sure I do tend to read the first at least 3 that I really, really want to read for my TBR from each TBR that I make, but not all of them for sure, but we'll see which 3 I actually read. And I finally feel it. I'm out of a reading slump. I did read 9 books in January. I didn't feel like I read that much, but it's because towards the end, I started like reading and I was reading like in 1 or 2 days. I read one book. I finished books in like 1 or 2 days, and towards the end of January because I started getting back that feeling of okay, I love reading. I'm enjoying these books. Even though I read The Silent Patient and it was terrible, I still was on a kick. I still wanted to read more thrillers. I wanted to get into more thrillers, and I still am in that mood of I want to read more thrillers. So I'm gonna research some more that have that like exciting feel to it and see how that goes, basically. So yeah. I'm 197 pages into The Boyfriend right now. And one thing for sure I noted is that there's something that I really hate in this book, and it's that one of the characters, you're seeing his point of view when he's a teenager. And if you don't know about me, is that I really hate reading about teenagers, like high school teenagers in modern day settings. If they're in like a medieval setting or in a fantasy book, I'm fine when they're in their teenage age because they read more mature. But when they're actually in modern settings, they're just so immature, my goodness, and I hate it. It's just cringe. And that's what I'm having with one of the characters in here, and I didn't expect that, so I'm kind of hating this book because of that reason. But I'm still pushing through because I really want to know where this is going, you know, because it's a thriller. Like, what's the thriller aspect? And another thing is, it is so obvious. Like, it's too obvious who is the bad person in this book. So I'm like, because I know from reading two books from her, that she really can twist things a whole lot to the point that you wouldn't have seen it coming. So I'm like, this is way too obvious. So there must be a really good twist she has coming, because I don't want to speak too soon. With The Housemaid, I spoke too soon. I was like, I hate everyone in this book. It's so obvious. They're all terrible. And then that twist happened, and I loved it. So is it going to be the same for this one? Because it's kind of giving 3 stars at this point. It's not the most amazing thing ever. I'm kind of just like meh about it, you know. But I'm gonna see. I think I just hate the chapters with the teenage age character. I think that's putting me down about it. But I'm gonna push through still and see. It's not what I expected at all, because I really didn't read the synopsis. I just know this girl meets this guy, falls in love, head over heels, and there's obvious red flags, and she's still like, oh my gosh, I love it. Like, girl, after all that happened, you just went into this relationship with this guy. Don't you think it's suspicious? Like, she's kind of stupid, I'm not gonna lie. Like, but yeah, I'm gonna update again once I'm done and see if there's really a big twist in here that will change my mind a whole lot. Because for now, I hate the guy in his teenage years, and I don't like her because she is so obviously stupid. That is crazy. But I am getting some laughs because of how dumb she is. So I am laughing, like it's humorous to me. But I'm just like, wow, could never be me. It's Monday. That means the weekend is finally over. So time to wrap up this reading vlog. And my last update, I was talking about how I was reading The Boyfriend by Frida McFadden, and I was just baffled by how basic it is and how the red flags are so clearly there. Like, what could be the twist that will make it all make sense? Honestly, the twist, it was surprising, yeah, as a twist should be. It was the same very smart deception that she does, like that she did with Never Lie. It was a very smart deception with the characters, where you thought you knew who was like the psycho, but then did you really? I feel like even so that character was still a psycho. Like, and it was so obvious. And the main girl, she is so, oh my goodness, like, what, girl, are you that desperate? This book has a perfect message for women. Like, don't be so desperate, okay? Even still, just live life and you'll find a better man. Like, you don't need to be going around with a psycho because you want to get married and have babies, okay? Because I knew she knew, like, stuff was not right with that guy. But yet still. But the twist, it was nice, but I just could not fathom how this woman could, like, go around with all these red flags shining, blaring in her face, and still be with that guy. Like, even after that certain scene with, you know, and she still was like, oh, I don't want to spoil it, so I'm just like, okay, what can I say for people that have read it, that understand what I'm talking about for certain scenes, but also people that haven't read it, don't be spoiled. Yeah, I give it a 3.5 stars, basically. It was kind of good with the deception and, like, the reveal and the twist there, but from what people were saying, it wasn't, like, the greatest. People were like, oh, I was really, like, bummed by the whole book until the twist happened. The twist was so great. I was still bummed. Like, the twist wasn't the most explicit or anything. Like, I was really surprised that one of the characters that was so blaringly obviously, like, kind of one of the bad guys, you know, was not. So that's one thing I have to say for sure, that I was very surprised by that. And she really tricked me there with one of the names, for sure. She really tricked me. Like, I was like, oh, for sure. I'm like, I'm right. I know it's that character. And then, bam, wasn't even close. So yeah, that's one thing for sure. I was excited about figuring out who did it, like, because I'm like, no way it's that character, because that's so obvious, you know. And, like, who would make it be that obvious? It wouldn't be a thriller no more. It wouldn't be fun if it's obvious from the start. So yeah, I was enjoying the ride of trying to figure out what's the twist. Didn't figure it out. I enjoyed the reveal.
But for the most part, the journey going to that reveal was sucky. Like, especially the chapters with the teenage age chapters. I don't know. I just really don't like reading about teenagers. Like, they're so annoying. Like, and he was very annoying. So yeah, I didn't enjoy those chapters at all. And they kept going. I'm like, oh, are they gonna like be half the book of just him in his teenage years, or it's gonna be the whole entire freaking book? And it was a whole book. And yeah, that took away a star rating for me. Like, I didn't go into this book expecting teenagers. Okay, so yeah. 3.5 stars for the boyfriend. I guess I really love The House Made by Her for number one, and then Never Lie so far. I think I'm gonna read Ward B. I saw her other book, The Teacher, but I don't know, it's not grasping my attention, and I really don't want to read about like pedophiles. So that's what is a given. So let me know if that's what it's about. But if not, I might read it. I might pick it up. But yeah, I think Ward B is what I'm going for more because it's like you're in a war with crazy people. That's even more like thrilling and terrifying. So I might go for that one next instead of like what do you call these books? Like suburban, yeah, like these suburban stories with a bit of cycles in it around it. I don't think I really love the suburban ones as much because Never Lie, it did have like very suburban type of characters, but they were in the middle of nowhere, and it was just a different type of setting. This one was too suburban for me, too suburban. Yeah. So for now, my thriller kick is kind of gone since I've had like two bums, you know. So I'm just gonna go back into reading some nice little romances and some fantasies for now because yeah, I'm not as intrigued anymore. Like it's kind of gone out the window. So thank you all so much for watching this reading vlog. I will probably do another one very soon. So look out for that. And yeah, goodbye for now.